Guys, my name's Sophie and welcome back to another FIFA 22 video. Today we're going to be talking about the Season 1 Level 30 player pick. Obviously, who you should choose, why I think you should choose them, and just breaking down all three of the cards to give you a better insight as to what they offer, whether or not you should pick them, whether or not they're going to suit your teams at all. So obviously the cards are Davidson, Bou, and of course Pedro Porro. Now, I do think currently that they are a little bit behind the power curve in terms of FIFA. That seems to be the trend with EA, that along the season, they look right at the start, but by the time you get there, everyone has better teams than these cards. However, I do think that two of these can be used as super subs or potentially find their way into your team, dependent on what you play. So let's jump straight into the cards and break them down. So the first one up is Davidson. He's 5'10", high medium, 4-star skills is great, 3-star weak foot is a little bit limit, a little bit of a letdown. He is obviously right-footed on the left-hand side as well, so that will affect his crossing slightly. However, cutting inside finesse is OP this year, so that will help as well for that. So you can cut inside as right and finish. Going into his stats, pace for a winger is decent. It's not top tier, but it's still quite good. I haven't found that low pace wingers have been too difficult to use this year, so as well, it's not too bad for him. Shooting as far as a winger goes, the finishing is a little bit low, but to have 92 shot power is super helpful. 85 attack positioning is also great. In terms of passing, the short pass is decent, the vision is decent, the long pass isn't great, but he has got great curve at 88 as well, which is super helpful for the finesses, and for the crossing being 79, it's not bad either. In terms of his dribbling, this is where he excels. 90 agility, 83 balance is decent, 86 reactions is really high, 88 dribbling, 87 composure as well on a left mid is decent. You don't find that a lot, high composure on wingers as well, so you could play him up front potentially. Heading accuracy is alright, and the physicals are really, really decent on this card. For a winger, usually they're quite low. These are really decent. In terms of his traits, he's got solid player and long shot taker, so not super helpful. Overall, I think this is a good card. In terms of links, he's going to struggle with the Turkish league, but being Brazilian as well, you can get him in there in some capacity, and there are some decent Brazilians to link to down that left-hand side. He's basically a budget Neymar, and I think that this is a really solid card, and it's a good choice potentially to take. We will overall sum them up at the end, but I do think Davidson could be one of the best cards out of these three. So the next card is, of course, Bou. Let's have a look at his card. So he's 4-star, 4-star, which straight off the rip is slightly better than Davidson. On a striker as well, super, super helpful to have the 4-star weak foot. Medium-low, I have found to be a little bit troubling. Not great for use in this game. You would probably have to set him to stay forward to get the best out of him. So the medium-low is a little bit of a con on this card for me. In terms of his pace, it's decent. It's not top tier again, but still passable. His shooting, 96 shot power, fantastic. Finishing at 84 isn't bad, and the attack positioning 82 is all right. For his passing as a striker, short pass at 80, vision 80, and 70 long pass is not bad at all. Not much curve on him at 76, which isn't fantastic for those finesses. In terms of his dribbling, the composure at 84 is all right. It's not amazing, especially for a striker, you want it to be slightly higher. The dribbling across the board, though, for the rest of it is pretty decent. It's not going to be top end, but it's all right. His heading actually at 93 is great, but the one stat that does let him down here is the 58 aggression. That's really, really low, and I do think he will get bounced off the ball quite a bit. I have faced Bou a couple of times. I've not really had too much trouble defending him, so that may speak volumes for that low aggression. The 97 jumping, 97 heading actually isn't bad, but heading is not super meta in this game, so not super helpful. He does have the outside of the foot shot, which does help, but he's got 4-star weak foot anyway, so the finesses outside of the boot, not too bad. For me, this is a decent card. Again, the links, MLS links aren't super easy to come by. You could obviously link him to Dempsey's hero card, which is nice and cheap and will help you getting them into a team. But again, he would be a super sub for me. Medium-low is the big con on this card, though, alongside the slightly low composure and the low aggression for me. Still not a bad choice, though, but you do have to factor in those work rates. The last card is Pedro Porro, which for me, I think looked like the best card at first. But then when I compared him to some of the right backs and the other options that are out there, sort of just went downhill, to be honest. He's high, which is great for a fullback or a box-to-box midfielder. 3-star, 3-star is okay, but not fantastic, nothing to write home about. When we look at his stats, the pace split is the wrong way around for me. You'd want higher acceleration than sprint speed, but it's not bad. His pace is okay, but it's not top tier. The shooting is meh, it's not really there, but you're not really expecting that from a right back. His passing is a bit low, especially for a fullback. Those attacking passes down the line to your wingers are important. 72 vision's not great. Short pass and long pass at 79, 75 are passable, but it's not amazing. In terms of his dribbling, the dribbling itself is reasonably good, slightly low on the 75 balance. His defensive awareness for me is a really big con on this card. 77 defensive awareness is not great, so his defending stats aren't super high, especially for a right back, but you're not going to get super high ones. Heading actually is a bit low, jumping is low, so he's not going to win as many headers at right back as well. The rest of the physicals, though, are pretty decent. The main thing for me with this card is just that there is such an abundance of right backs that do this job or better already. Bou that came out this week has tons more stats than this card, and it's 10 ratings lower. I know that is all Silver Stars, they are exceed what their rating are, but that Miguel Leon is a way better card than this Pedro Porro card. You know, Jesus Navas is a better card than this Pedro Porro card. There's plenty of Spanish alternatives. For me, just based on the card itself and what else is out there, Pedro Porro for me looked like the best at first, but when I examined it, went down the pecking order, so he would be third choice for me personally. My second choice would probably be Bou, and my first choice for you is going to be Davidson. I think he's the most usable of the bunch. However, that being said, if you want a striker, you could use Davidson up front. If you do want to go with Bou, it's not the worst choice, and if he fits your team better, or you're Argentinian or an MLS fan, you know, then Bou is an option. But for me, Davidson would be my number one pick. That's probably who I'm going to take. Bou number 2, and Pedro Porro would be number 3, mainly just because there's better options than Porro that you can get really, really cheaply, but there's not as many alternatives to a Davidson or a Bou that you're going to get out there. Hopefully that helps give you some insight and helps you pick the one that you're going to want to use. But obviously, make sure you make your decision based on who you've got in your team and what suits you the best. If you like the video, guys, please leave a like. If you want to subscribe to me, you can. Make sure to follow me on all the socials, including TikTok. My name's Soapsy, and I'll see you guys later.